Okay, looks like we got more people filing in. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Hey everybody, Brian Bickle, TextQL here, and thanks for joining us this morning for our TextQL Dashboards launch party webinar. We really appreciate you spending your time with us, and this is a feature that we're very excited about. So glad to see people joining and interested in what we're presenting today. To get us started, I just want to cover some of the housekeeping. As we're doing the session, we are going to take Q&A. So if you will use the Q&A dialogue there or the chat in Zoom, we will get to your questions at the end of the session. So go ahead and drop your questions there. We will answer them towards the end. We are going to record the session. I get that question a lot. We will provide it as a link afterwards. So feel free to forward that on to anybody else at your company that couldn't attend. We really appreciate it. You can find us at textql.com if you want to know more about us. If you want to take a look at what we're doing. If you want to do that during the session, do it after the session, great, go for it. And you could also get yourself an account at app.textql.com. So if you like what you see today and you want to jump in and test it out, just go grab an account at app.textql.com. And it's very easy to get started. We're going to run about 30 or 40 minutes of content, and then we're going to have Q&A. So hang around for that. I just want to give you some expectation on time. I don't think we're going to go the whole hour, but it depends on how many questions we get. Quick agenda. Do these intros. We'll talk about what is TextQL, what are the problems we're solving. We're going to talk about the broad TextQL feature set, and then how it applies to the new dashboard launch. And then for the bulk of the session, I want to give it over to Mr. Tony Kaw, who has joined us to actually take you through a live demo of dashboards and how dashboards work in TextQL. It's a really great feature, and Tony has a lot of experience in BI, so I think he's an excellent presenter for this. We'll do our Q&A and then our outros, and then we'll get y'all out of here. Just by way of introductions again, if you didn't hear me at the beginning, my name is Brian Bickle, marketing and partnerships here at TextQL. I've got Tony Kaw with me, forward deployed engineer here at TextQL. Tony and I both have an interesting background and an interesting relationship with BI. We both came out of a consulting firm called Interworks, where we spent a lot of years working with Tableau. And between the teams that we put together and our own hours, I am confident we build customers over $10 million for building dashboards. So happy to be here with you today, showing our version of dashboards and how we can help you, potentially lower your BI bill. And with that, I'm going to get into who we are and tell you a little bit about TextQL and get this thing moving. So TextQL is a software that is, fundamentally an AI data analytics agent. We say that we build AI agents for advanced data intensive workloads. We also say that we build AI data agents for messy data sets, for complicated siloed environments where, there are lots of different databases, data warehouses, APIs, even complex old systems of record, things like SAP, things like NetSuite, think that. One of the, I think, guiding philosophies behind what we built here at TextQL is this understanding or acceptance that the data world is not all completely clean and modeled and ETL'd into one data warehouse. And that is, I think, the world that a lot of AI providers expect that you and I live in. And we think that they are very unreasonable for that. So we wanted to build a platform where we could handle data kind of as it is in the wild and as it is in customer environments and as it is in major industries. And, been around since 2022, based in New York. This is just a small sample of some of our customers that we're more proud of. Of course, we're proud of all of our customers, but I don't have infinite room for logos here. These are folks that have come along on this journey with us, and we're helping them deliver AI-powered data analytics. And just a little bit of quick positioning that we like to show for orienting kind of, where we are compared to some common solutions you might come up against or you might know about. I'm sure anybody joining an AI webinar in 2026 is familiar with a lot of these logos on the screen. The way that we think about TextQL is that we think about it as being really good at multi-source data that is structured in columns, in tables. Think tabular-oriented data. That's not the only thing we do. We can connect to some unstructured data sets. But what we're really good at is, grabbing product data out of a Snowflake or a BigQuery and then layering bookings or sales onto it right from Salesforce, and then maybe grabbing actual customer interactions with your product, out of something like PostHog and or Amplitude or some other system, and then really making sense of all of that, in one shot, in one chat UI, in one session without a user sort of doing a lot of like complex data wrangling or data munging or other things, and doing that in a way that is very accurate and is very expressive. And the way I think about it is something that we build really is something that a lot of customers, when they see it, they sort of don't believe it exists, or they don't believe it's possible, because they've been told over and over again that your data has to be perfect and it has to be completely clean and it has to be heavily ETL'd for you to get good results with AI. So that's how we kind of think about ourselves in relation to some of these other products. We power use cases all across every industry that you can imagine. We are very heavily represented in financial services, in healthcare, life sciences, in B2B SaaS and technology. We work with some major utilities and manufacturing companies as well. So if you're out there in the audience and you think, hey, does TextQL cover what we do? Probably. We probably have an example customer of it. We probably have an example use case that we can talk to you about. So we would be happy to help you sort of look at that and understand if what we can do is applicable to you and to your business. And when I think a little bit more, or when we think more about, why the company exists and what moment we're in and sort of where the world's going, we think that we are in an era where the demand for being able to answer questions on data or be able to help customers make decisions, that demand is going to completely outweigh the supply of labor. We think that labor is not getting any cheaper. The number of questions is going up. And that causes this disjoint where a lot of companies can't really afford to answer all of the questions that they want to answer. So that pushes them into this scenario of just having to decide not to answer some questions and probably leaving some money on the table. That's because, again, the unit cost of humans in the loop is just too expensive, and that prevents you from addressing the long tail of opportunities that exists in any business. And if we can build a technology that forces the cost of addressing these opportunities for analytics down, then we can make customers happy, and they will be able to get more value out of the product, and they will be able to answer more of their most complicated business questions, and they'll be better companies for it. And because we can scale capacity, and because we can get very good volume pricing, and because we only scale based on compute and based on tokens, we pull a lot of structural factors out, like seat-based pricing, or we're able to lower the labor cost of analytics by making it so that an analyst doesn't have to spend hours or days or weeks writing SQL queries. TextQL can just help them do that all a lot faster, and that helps them lower the unit cost of analytics dramatically. So those are the things that we're motivated by. If you've ever seen us at a conference or on LinkedIn or on Twitter, you've probably seen this very silly hat, but it's this hat I take seriously as well. In other words, we want to drive the unit cost of data-driven decisions to zero. And I give away a lot of these hats as a marketing guy, doing a lot of conferences. It's a very popular hat. It resonates with a lot of our fans out there. But it is a message that we take very seriously here at TextQL, and I would say that it's the goal of the company. Now, I've told you a little bit about the company and about what we do and why we do it. Let's talk about Anna, which TextQL's flagship agent is an agent called Anna. Anna has a couple different modes of interaction, and today this is the dashboards launch party. So we're going to tell you about kind of where Anna's come from and these pieces, but I quickly want to get into the new functionality. So Anna is an agent that most users interact with via chat. We call that chat portion of the product threads. It allows a user to enter a question in natural language, and then Anna will go off and connect to all the different data sources it has access to. Those are databases, those are MCPs, those are APIs, those are the flat files you've given it access to. It does all that connection and all of that querying with complete RBAC authentication, with all of the enterprise security that you need. And then it doesn't just, give you back a set of columns and tables or like a row set or something like that. It gives you exactly the kind of result you want. That result could be some, analysis in a scatter plot that is just an image. It could be a PDF. It could be a full report that is branded and styled in your your markdown and would look good handed straight to your execs. And that is kind of the interactive analysis mode of Anna. Anna also has a functionality that we call playbooks. And playbooks are really a thread or an analysis that is applied to a schedule. And then that analysis can be rerun on a schedule. It can be generated and handed to someone by email, or it can be dumped right into like something like a Slack channel or really wherever you work. Playbooks can bring scheduled analysis to that for these repeatable business processes. So playbooks and threads are sort of, existing functionality, and the Slack integration is existing functionality. Customers use that every day. They use it very heavily. I use it very heavily. We all love that. Today, the point of what we're here for is to talk about our launch of dashboards. Dashboards are a new primitive inside of TextQL. They're a completely new kind of object that we didn't have before. There is an output type, and you're going to see that in Tony's demo for dashboards. Dashboards are available now. You can go into TextQL, at app.textql.com in all of our pricing tiers. And if you connect some data or use some of our sample data, you can create a dashboard right now from chat. So you can just ask Anna, hey, I am so and so title at this company, and I do this type of thing, and I am interested in this type of analysis. You can actually start, I would say, very abstract and very business problem focused. When we say Anna creates a dashboard, we're not saying that you don't have to tell Anna, like, I want you to put this column on the y-axis and I want you to put this column on the x-axis. You don't have to be overly verbose, and you're not telling it like exactly narrating what you would do in Tableau, dragging and dropping things. You can give Anna a problem or a something you're trying to optimize, and Anna will create you a dashboard that it believes would help you do that. This is from all of our sources. If you can connect to the source in TextQL, you can use it in a dashboard. That's all of our database connectors, which are, again, data warehouses, which are databases, which are most things that speak SQL. We have a good connector for. That's APIs, that's MCPs, that's flat files. There's also scheduling, live refresh, a lot of the things that you expect in a BI product here, and publishing, sharing, RBAC, different kinds of organizational sharing or security issues that you might have in an organization. You can support all of those models with the dashboards in TextQL. And like a lot of the assets inside TextQL, we also give you complete transparency into the code that we're generating. So, if you're interested in it, you can generate a dashboard with TextQL. You can go grab the code. You can run the code somewhere else. We don't kind of hijack you into this thing of like, well, now you're codependent on our dashboards. And I think the big winner here, I think the big thing that is like really compelling about what we built for dashboards is that they are a $0 seat. And if you're coming out of traditional BI, I mentioned I've spent a lot of time selling Tableau in past lives. I've done a lot of work on Power BI, Looker, and other platforms. $0 seat BI, I think, changes a lot of the unit dynamics in a very fundamental way. And if you go back to the mission of the company and kind of what we talk about as a very important thing of lowering the unit cost of decisions and analytics, the BI seat price is a big portion of that unit cost that you could get rid of. And so, that's how we think about the product. I'm really excited about dashboards. I've talked for 15 minutes or so now, so I am going to give things over to Tony and let him get set up for a demo.
Well, hey everyone. Today I wanted to show you what's possible with TextQL Dashboards. The basic idea is pretty simple. You tell Anna what you want to see, and she builds you a live interactive dashboard connected to your actual data, secured with your existing roles, refreshable on a schedule, all the good stuff. No BI tool license, no analyst queue, no deployment pipeline. So we're going to walk through a few examples I made. We'll walk through those in a minute. First, I want to show you just how easy it is to actually make one. So we're just in the main chat interface for Anna and connected to a few data sources. We have the Apex Industrial, that's our mock data set for today, and some SEC company filings, Snowflake public data. Just notice that some of these are Snowflake and one of these is BigQuery. We support tons of different types of connectors, but today we'll be using data sources across those couple, and a few more I'll show you later. But let's go ahead and kick this off. So I just asked Anna to build an interactive competitive positioning dashboard for an investor call. I'm going to pull from our company's data, that's Apex, that warehouse, and then from the public SEC filings, and then we can benchmark ourselves against those real public companies. So normally this is like a put in a ticket and wait 2 weeks kind of project. And Anna's actually going to go figure this out, figure out the data, write the queries, pick the right charts, and hand me something I can actually use today or in a few minutes. So you're going to see Anna starting to do some research here, and she'll run SQL queries against multiple data warehouses that we're connected to, use Python to run the analysis, build the data frames, finally the dashboard. So that'll take a couple minutes to cook. So while she's working, let me show you what finished dashboards look like, and what kind of things are possible to do with them. So we'll walk through 3 dashboard examples here. We'll walk through a fictional company again called Apex, a big manufacturer, and then these are different roles: the CRO, the VP of supply chain, the CFO. They have different problems, and we'll see how each person uses the dashboard to actually get stuff done and not just look at charts. So the first one, let's take a look at the CFO dashboard. So we're the CFO, the board meeting's in a couple days, and we need a full business review. We don't have like 2 weeks to wait for the analytics team to build it. So this was built from a few prompts, 0 coding, and let's take a look at what we got here. So we're seeing 4 numbers across the top: revenue, margin, operating income, cash flow, just basic KPIs for us, and then how it changed from last year. And then below that, revenue trend. We've got our filters over on the left. These work, just how you'd expect. And we've got an export button. So real quick, I can just jump straight into generating a board deck, and it goes straight to the team share drive in Google Slides. So if I open this up, we are now in Google Drive, taking a look at those 2 revenue components and our comparison with for operating margin against our competitors with those. So again, we had those 2 selected, and that's what came through in our board deck. Totally interactive there. So let's take a look at peer benchmarking. So this is a pretty interesting one because this tab is pulling from 2 different databases at the same time and combining them into the same charts. So our internal numbers come from our company database, and the peer data comes from those SEC filings. So the public financial reports, those are what the companies file every quarter. So Snowflake makes those available as a shared data set and is plugged into that. So here's our operating margin compared to all our competitors, and you can see exactly where we stand. This is really like this type of analysis, like going to the SEC website, downloading filings, normalizing the numbers, building a comparison, all those all those tasks, that's a full day of work for like a junior analyst. And Anna just did this as part of building a normal dashboard. And then, go down here, there's some revenue growth. We see exactly where we stand relative to our competitors and how everybody is trending here. And growth over the last 2 years. Very easy to see. And then, over on let's take a look. The last tab, we have some scenario analysis. So we can play like what if with an outlook. So I can, drag what if our win rate dramatically improves, and our backlog conversion gets better. I can just do our scenario modeling right here in the dashboard and get our outputs, get our expected outputs based on our financial model. So that's the strategic view. We showed 2 databases. It's interactive, shareable as far as generating a PDF here or a PowerPoint, and this is where you can actually like dive in and start doing things. So I'll go back to the other dashboards. Now let's take a look at this one, the VP of Supply Chain. So the scenario here is like we last quarter a small supplier went offline, and that like caused a ripple effect, which led to a production shutdown, and that cost us millions of dollars. So now we're trying to be proactive. We don't want to have that like single supplier bottleneck or single point of failure. So let's figure out how we can prevent that in the future. So we've got 4 KPIs across the top, normal filters on the side, like what we might expect, and the export to Google Sheets, very similar as our Google Slides functionality as well. And yeah, let's go on to the procurement actions. So this is where this really stops like being a dashboard, and it starts being more of a tool or an application. So here we're qualifying additional suppliers. We're looking to say, hey, is this should we evaluate this, or we're evaluating these? How do they stack up? And we can take action right here in the dashboard. So we could go ahead and advance that one to the quality alert, and see those bits update. They're updating in Snowflake. We can go ahead and like approve this 124 PO 124 for this Parker Hannafin. If I go jump into Snowflake and rerun our query here, we can see PO 124 just dropped in. So interactive as far as we have the ability to write back to the database as well, and really just this becomes more of an application than a static dashboard with charts. So let's go take a look at the risk monitor. So anomaly alerts, these are things like the system would flag as unusual, including that Mueller components, that one from the trend chart that was also highlighted over there. And it shows us a little bit more detail, like how it dropped from baseline, and the full context of like what's happening here. And then we can see the other potential suppliers in the database, and how bad things actually are. So this type of color information is great to have on an operational dashboard like this. And now let's say, like, here's the cool part, like we can if we get an email from like our insurance company that has a risk assessment spreadsheet attached, and we already know the format here, or we're specifying the format, we can go ahead and upload that. and the dashboard will go ahead and populate those additional columns over here. It's telling us it matched 9 of the 16 suppliers, and it expanded the table for us here. So very cool that we can just take additional data and add it right to our dashboard without going into Snowflake or setting up a data pipeline or ETLing something. The data just merges, right? The new columns appeared right alongside that warehouse data. And so that's Snowflake, that's a write back API, that's a CSV we just uploaded, and it's like an anomaly detection system all in one page. So that's definitely not something you can do in Tableau. Awesome. So let's take a look at the other, the last example here. For CRO intelligence. So let's say we're like the chief revenue officer. We need to know things like what's the health of our pipeline, where do deals sit right now, which accounts are at risk of churning, and in this case, like the big one is like who at our company already knows someone at our prospect who can help us close the deal. And so there's KPIs at the top of a pretty normal dashboard here. We've got breakdown of our pipeline by stages. We have churn risk by account, and we also have some actionable recommended next steps. So these like critical accounts get flagged. So scheduling an executive meeting this week for those critical ones. High risk accounts could get like CSM check-in and usage review. Basically, our team knows what to prioritize and what to do on Monday morning. Now, this is one of my favorite pages here, the deal room. So in the deal room, we have what's called a relationship map. And who doesn't love a graph? So this is a graph of how our team at Apex is connected to like key members of the prospect team. So the orange dots are folks at the prospect, the green dots are folks on our side, and then the graph is obviously all the different relationships that we could possibly have between those two organizations. And if we've got like a stalled deal and we can find additional links to the stakeholders, that's very valuable. So in this case, it looks like James and Klaus are on the same committee together, and so we're able to find this link right here in line with the rest of our pipeline data. So not something that you can really do on really any other BI platform. So very cool insights here. We can do things again with write back, like advancing the deal stages, and seeing like or comparable deals. These could be useful for like references, like bringing in, identifying who would be a good reference to talk to Siemens about our about the value that we're bringing. Awesome. So we can see all the deal details as well. We can also pick different deals and have our data update as well as we might expect. And then let's go ahead and jump into portfolio health. So we can look at each of our accounts. We can segment, or we can filter a list. We can export the list to Google Sheets, and we can rename these, reassign the reps as we want. Cool. Great. So I think our dashboard finished. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. So going back to where we were, like Anna figured this out, figured out our query, created a dashboard with the different KPIs that would be relevant, uh, developed the trends to do that comparison analysis in our industry. We can just like jump right back in this design flow and do things like add a filter for region, and then let Anna, go cook. Multi-tab analysis here, just generated off of my request for a lot of relevant information. Here's a sales pipeline funnel visualization that's makes a lot of sense when you can look at it that way. So these are all things like I didn't prompt Anna to specifically come up with these visualizations and show things this way, but this is what Anna, using her judgment as an analyst and as a data scientist, is really making the call here, and really accelerating the value that we get out of our data, just enormously. Like you can imagine, this would take a week or more for an analyst to be able to put together. So this is some incredible productivity gains that we're seeing here. And the main thing that I want you to take away is like it's not like the charts or the stylings, it's what we can actually do from each of the dashboards and like the immediate business impact that it has. So we did things like approving a purchase order and updating a database. We use the graph data to unblock a deal, benchmarking against companies, using multiple data sources without needing to do any migration or ETL. It's like a extreme dashboarding, let's say, and all this, all the assets that we produced, the styling, the components. These are all things that live in like a shared library, and every dashboard can reuse the same building blocks. That's really how you scale this stuff beyond the one-off dashboards, and basically create like a high leverage machine that your org can actually run on. So that's TextQL Dashboards. I'd love to open it up for questions.
Cool. Thanks, Tony. No, really great look at dashboards. Dashboards are a functionality that have really changed how I use TextQL. And obviously, here at TextQL, we do dog food the product pretty heavily. We all we all use it all the time. We use it very aggressively, in our Slack channel and outside. We send things all over the place to each other. Recently, as a guy doing a lot of conference marketing here and trying to get a handle on marketing attribution, I've been using dashboards a lot to get understanding into the marketing pipeline that we've created from our event campaign in the spring, and then surfacing that pipeline in Slack, like right to my sellers, and then asking them for their commentary and their updates on what is in pipeline and what they know about deals. So, because of TextQL's ability to connect to our warehouse, but also our connect to our APIs and our CRMs, it's been really useful. So, with that, I'm going to get us over to I'm going to share my screen again. Get us over to Q&A, and yeah, we have a few more minutes, so happy to. Oops, let me go back one. Happy to answer questions. If anybody's got questions that we can answer that we didn't answer in the session, go ahead and type them in the chat. Tony, I'm going to go ahead and if you want to come off of mute and come on camera on, we'll go ahead and answer some of these questions. There is a question out in the audience. Somebody who joined a little bit late, I think, wanted to ask about how to go ahead and get started with TextQL, and especially with dashboards. Like what does it take to get started using dashboards? I know you talked us through creating some of these objects, but where should a new user start?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting with a data set that you are familiar with and curious about is the best way to get value out of it. We have if you like open up a brand new demo account, there's a city bike data set in there, which is great for like poking around and seeing some of the features. But where you're really going to get the actual oh, this is how it works. This makes sense, or those kind of moments. That's based on your own data. So I'd really encourage you to plug in the data that you can and give it a spin. Uh, yeah,
Cool. A couple other questions. Uh, this is uh, this is nice to see. I'm laughing. This is some former Interworks folks out in the crowd asking BI questions. So that's always nice to see the home team asking some questions. There's a user out there asking about access control, and can other users access the dashboards and use them after they've been built? So, do you want to talk about sharing and what that experience looks like?
yeah, and my bad because I should have absolutely covered that. Let me pop back right back in there. So if
Oh
I hit
yeah, actually, yeah. I'll just stop sharing. If you just want to get back in the product, let's do that.
yeah, and I'll so if I hit like publish on this, now I've got options for scheduling. So I can run an update of the data at any, excuse me, any given interval. And then also sharing is fully R-backed. So I can, set my access to, let everybody see it or let, just specific groups or roles see it or specific people, and then add those specific roles or people to the dashboard for visibility.
Cool. Another question in the Q&A that kind of goes along with that. I think you kind of covered sharing and collaboration, but you want to talk about how RBAC works within dashboards?
Sure. Yeah, the dashboards themselves are objects in TextQL, so you can either see the dashboard or you cannot see the dashboard, and so that's where we have the role-based permissioning. You can be parts of groups that can see just the dashboards that you're allocated to see by the admin, and as admin you can control which dashboards folks can see. So I think it's fairly straightforward as far as like uh, access control and security goes. It's kind of an all or nothing at this point. So yeah,
Cool. And there's a question here about pricing. I'm happy to answer that. I think maybe someone came in a little bit late. I do want to talk about dashboard pricing being a $0 per seat pricing. It is not an add-on. So we make dashboards available to everybody at 0 per seat. Of course, dashboards kind of incur the normal TextQL pricing. We are priced on a consumption metric basis, so that is what we call an agent compute unit, and then that compute unit is a distillation of our cloud consumption and compute behind the scenes, as well as our model and inference cost. And yeah, you only get charged for what the dashboards are using effectively. So what infrastructure they're using to be built and to run. And yeah, got a few more minutes here. If anybody else has any more questions in the Q&A, happy to go ahead and answer them live. And also, if not, we will go ahead and get you guys the recording sent out after we wrap. So while we wait, see if any more questions come in, I'm going to get back to sharing. I've got a couple points for the outro here, where you can find more information about us. So let's do that. Um, I'll sit here for a second, see if we get any questions, we'll answer them. If not, we'll wrap. But yeah, I mean, in closing, what we talked about today, TextQL builds data analyst agents for messy data. We're very good at handling complex databases, multiple databases, APIs, MCPs, flat files, making all of that work together. And we are available as a SaaS. We're also available as a VPC offering. So you can deploy TextQL inside your customers' VPCs or inside your VPC. And we're really built with a focus towards security and towards like giving you, strong tools for like your own, sort of data and AI sovereignty. And yeah, I mean that's kind of the big idea. But now, all of that we include dashboards as well. There's another question here. Actually, I'm gonna interrupt my closing for just a second. There's one more I want to try to answer. From a name I know. So thanks for being here. The viewer out there asks, when sharing, is the data duplicated, or does it run for each user that opens it, or like how does the actual like running and updating work?
Oh, great question. So it runs in a sandcastle, which is like our version of a sandbox, but obviously it's much bigger. So a dashboard is powered by the sandbox, and so when a user asks a question, the sandbox turns on to, or when a dashboard is viewed, the sandbox turns on to like gather the information and present the dashboard or present the data out. And so other users can also, when they visit that dashboard, they connect to the same instance. That all happens behind the scenes. Really, you're just sharing the link or visiting that dashboard. Multiple people are sharing the same data from the same sandbox. So it's pretty efficient from that perspective.
Cool. Yeah. No, sounds good. Um, kind of in closing, if you want to take a look at what we're doing out here at TextQL again, we're at textql.com. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us next week in San Francisco at the Human X conference. So we'll be out there next week. And if you want to get a demo, easiest thing in the world to do is just go to textql.com and to find that request a demo link. If you hit that and fill in some information, we will reach out to you. Happy to get a hold of you and run a demo and talk to you about dashboards. We also, again, as I mentioned in the intro, you can go get a free account at app.textql.com. Find us on X, LinkedIn, all the socials. And you can also just email Tony and I directly. So I'm at Brian@textql.com. Tony's over at Tony@textql.com. Happy to help. And yeah, with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up for today. So yeah, thanks for everybody. Thanks for being here. And yeah, really appreciate your time. And we will, as I said, we will send you the recording with the follow-up. Thanks, guys. Cheers.